So at the very start of my research career, I used to work with the European Space Agency for a while, trying to design the interfaces for astronauts when they go up into space. Nowadays, I'm much more interested in food, but still kind of interested in sort of space travel, and one sort of thinks about what sort of food might be appropriate in an extreme environment like space. And is there anything that the psychologist or the gastrophysicist knows that could be of use to the NASA or the European Space Agency scientists? And I think that there is. Because being in space, just like being in an aeroplane, being in your own living room or being in a restaurant, we always eat in a particular environment, and the sensory attributes of the environment in which we eat have an influence on us. So maybe there's not much noise, maybe there's a lot of background noise. That might be important. Maybe the atmospheric pressure in the space station might also change the way things taste. Just like when we go up in an aeroplane, things never taste very good. That's partly due to the dry air, the lack of humidity, to the low cabin pressure. And if that kind of atmosphere is even worse in space, then you might imagine the food will taste even worse still. One might think about sonic seasoning, this idea if you can have music to match the food, you can help to bring out the authenticity of your space dinner, say. One might think about any other sort of cues to, I guess sort of weightlessness in space is going to be a problem, because we know that the weight, heavier food, heavier cutlery, heavy bowlware, that makes food taste better. So if you're in a zero-G environment and the food has no weight and the cutlery has no weight, then maybe that's going to make the food taste worse. Maybe works around there to try and help give people the illusion of weight, or at least make eating a little bit more effortful and hence perhaps more liked. I think really ultimately this is going to be a really important area looking forward. I've got a folder in my filing cabinet of all the things I've read about sort of space food and space cuisine and space nutrition, and I think as commercial space flight starts to take off, maybe should somebody who's paying to go on a 30-minute ride into space, will they want a meal or a cocktail or a drink or something, just the way that we expect something when we go in regular flight? And if so, what should it be? And then going to the other extreme, for those who are contemplating going to Mars, that's a very, very long trip. And if you've got the same food, on Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays every week for a couple of years, that's going to get really boring. So what can you do for Mars missions? And there you might think, well, couldn't we just give people, meal pills? That's what some of the clever scientists thought. Just if we just give people just like astronauts a meal pill, we can stop worrying about liquids floating off into space and stuff like that. It'll be more compact, less stuff to carry up into space. And yet the one thing from speaking to the astronauts that they tell you time and time again is you can mess with anything, but you must not mess with the food. Because that's the one point in this very sort of alien environment, very strange environment, where the crew get together and are kind of communal for a while, and that the food is the one thing that locks them back to life on Earth. And if you take that away, some of them say it just wouldn't be worth living kind of without a real meal after the end of a day in space.